Hello, and welcome to the Building an Indie Business Podcast with SupremeRumHam. I'm your host, Alex Edmonds. Today, I want to discuss owning your content and the importance of it. Owning your content is creating content such as a newsletter, blogging, or podcasting. And not owning your content is things like social media. So, I wanted to talk about the importance of owning your content and the disadvantages that you might run into when you own your content. Okay, so let's get into it. So one reason why you should own your content is because platforms can take away your content or your account without notifying you, and you might not get your account back. So some social media platforms have started to delete accounts that don't fit their standard of what someone on their platform should be doing, or like the content they should be creating, and they can't get, the person that they deleted can't get their account back. So that person loses their audience, and now they have to start from scratch with growing their audience again. This also goes into the fact that platforms won't protect you. If advertisers on the platform don't like your content or that niche of content, then the platform will put the advertisers ahead of that niche of people, and they will start deleting those accounts. Okay. Another reason why you should own your content is because a platform controls how often and when your audience sees your posts. So with algorithms and an algorithmic feed, a platform can control when or how often your followers see your content. So if the platform doesn't like the kinds of content that you post, and it doesn't fall into like a bad category, then they will just lower your standing in the algorithm, and then your followers won't see your posts. So, for example, let's say I open up a flower shop, and I'm posting pictures of flowers and saying, hey, come buy my flowers. And then Twitter, or a social media platform, does a deal, or an advertising deal with one of the big flower companies. Then so this flower company gives Twitter $1 billion to advertise on their platform. Twitter will probably lower my standing in the algorithm, so that prevents people from seeing my flowers, and then I will sell less flowers, and that's nothing I can control. If I were to do a newsletter, or a newsletter or a podcast, then that won't happen. No one can lower my standing in their algorithm, and I can still sell my flowers. Okay. Another reason to own your own content is censorship. So, as I just said, Twitter, or social media platforms, all of them, will delete content that they don't like. So one example is, I think it was either 2018 or 2019, the phrase "learn to code" was going around these platforms, and some platforms decided that if anyone posted "learn to code," then they would delete that account. So if you own your own content, then you decide what things would be deleted and what things would be kept. Okay, so probably the biggest reason why you want to own your own content and avoid platforms or growing your audience on platforms is you can't take your followers with you to the next platform. So like you can't take your Twitter audience and add them to Facebook. This is different with blogging, newsletters, and podcasting. At the very least, blogging and podcasting are based on RSS feeds, and you could take that RSS feed and transfer it to the next platform. So if I wanted to go from Anchor to Transistor, I can easily do that through my RSS feed. The way you do it for, I think, a mailing list is you download your audience in a CSV file, and you could take that CSV file to any mailing platform that you want to. Okay. The next reason to own your content is someone can claim your content as their own. And so someone can take a picture or your written content and copy and paste it and then paste it as their own. And the social media platforms will not do anything because technically when someone does this, they're not really stealing content from you in a way. And they're also, by doing this, they're creating engagement and content for the platform, and that's what they want. So they won't try to stop people from doing it. Okay. Another big reason why you should own your own content is because consumers change and they have different tastes after a while. So, for example, if there is a video sharing, let me just use, okay, so let's say people love Instagram right now, and everyone is on Instagram, then, like younger kids, I know that they like TikTok. So I would be surprised if any younger person in my family creates an Instagram account. And so this goes back to everything I've been saying. You can't take your Instagram audience and add it to TikTok. So you have to regrow all of your audience. You could post your videos on your current platforms, your TikTok videos on current platforms, but you won't get 100% of your audience to TikTok. And then also your current audience has to sign up for TikTok, and maybe they don't want to do that. So you're going to lose a good chunk of your audience on platform to platform. If you own your content, you can, since you're not relying on the platform, you could tell your audience, hey, I'm on TikTok now, but you tell your audience that you're on TikTok, and some of them will follow you, but others will not. But it doesn't matter because you're not relying on the platform to grow your audience. You're just using it as a tool to grow your audience. Okay. Now, the disadvantages that I've noticed from growing an audience by owning your content. Okay. So it's very hard to get organic traffic if you own your own content. So, for my podcast, it would be very hard for me to have a podcast go viral or get organic traffic, because right now I don't have a big audience, so they, even if they share it a lot, it won't catch on as easily. Okay. Another thing I've noticed that it is difficult to grow a following because you're not following the masses. So, not that many people. I'm not growing my audience on big platforms. I'm using podcasting. I'm doing a newsletter, and sometimes they're difficult to share, and they're not big platforms. So it'd be different if I was using Twitter, which has 300,000 monthly users, and to share that content on my tweets on Twitter, all you have to do is click a button. To share my podcast episode, a listener would have to copy and paste the episode, find the person that they want to share it with, and then that's how they would share it. It's very different on Facebook or Twitter, because to share my Twitter content or Facebook content, it's one click. Okay. So basically, my point is that use platforms to grow your audience, but don't rely on them because they're unstable and unreliable. Okay. Thank you for listening. If you would like to try podcasting out, I have the Open Podcast Community Podcast, which is unreleased, where you can try out podcasting in any way you want. You can interview someone, be interviewed, do a roundtable with your friends, do a solo episode like I'm doing right now. Send me the audio, send me what you want in the show notes, and I will post it in the RSS feed of the Open Podcast Community Podcast. Also, come join me on Telegram. Hang out in the Open Podcast community, and we could discuss things. You could get advice about podcasting. That's all I have. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.